everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Hymn of the Goddess podcast, brought to you by two smiley girls. Today with me, I have AiramFM. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
A lot of people pronounce it like AiramFM, but it's AiramFM.
Airam, okay, perfect. So she is a singer, a songwriter, indie artist, producer, photographer from Denmark. And one of the reasons, or the main reason why this podcast is here today. So, hello, thank you for taking the time to be here with me. She has created a community, and that sort of, I think, came about from you starting to make playlists to support other artists. And I wanted to ask, where did the inspiration come from to start sort of bringing people together?
Well, at first I made my social media account for AiramFM, and I followed like a lot of musicians, and I would scroll and like their stuff, and they would like my stuff, but like I didn't have that genuine connection with them. Like I didn't like know who they are, if that makes sense. And it felt kind of lonely somehow. Like I wanted to be able to scroll through my feed and like know these people, be able to call them my friends and like have that deeper connection. So that's why I just thought I could make this playlist, and then I just DM'd everyone and asked if they wanted to be a part of this group chat, and like 30 plus people said yes, so that was a success.
Where did that idea come from? Were you just like sitting one day and thinking, that's it, I'm going to do a group chat? Or where was it like, I suppose, was it like a spark of inspiration to do that?
I think it was just pretty impulsive. Like most of my ideas, they just come like randomly, and then I have to do it immediately. So it was just a thought, like it would be kind of fun to have a group chat, and then I just made a playlist and immediately DM'd everyone within like 10 minutes, I think.
Love that. I've said this before, which you've heard, but like I was saying literally the day before, I was like, oh, something like that would be nice. And then the next day I get the DM from you. I was like, oh my God, did I manifest this? So that was really cool.
Exactly. So I think it came from your thoughts into my brain.
I'd love to take the credit, but it was all you. I wanted to know what started your musical journey, and if you could talk about your early beginnings and your first song.
Well, I always loved singing since I was little, and I watched Disney princess movies and sang along to The Little Mermaid and all that, And then I always loved writing songs and poems, and I have like these little diaries from I was 5 years old. I think I showed you some of old songs of mine. In 2022, after my mother died, I felt like I had to do something more with it. So it was actually, Kat Yvonne from the Hymn of the Goddess group chat. She released an album, and I already knew her. And that was like a big part of what inspired me and made me think like, okay, maybe I can do this as well. So I just started researching how to release music and how to produce music using GarageBand, and then I just wrote Angel and released it.
I mean, that's pretty impressive, because it took me God knows how many years to get my... Well, I suppose I did make a song years ago, but it never got released anywhere other than SoundCloud. But, for you to just go from like not making music to then learning how to producing it, recording it, mixing and getting it on Spotify, that's pretty incredible.
Thank you.
Did you and Kat meet because of your love of Lana?
Yeah, we did. We both still have a fan page for her, and we met in 2019, I think. And we would sing a lot of duets on Smooth, like Lana songs, and post them to Instagram. But then 5 years later, we made an official song together called Hold On.
Yes, which is a beautiful song. I think that's when we connect, around the time when the song came out. Speaking of Lana, I know she's a big inspiration of yours. What are your musical influences?
Of course, Lana, like you said, she's been my idol since 2012, I think. So of course, there's going to be a lot of influence from her. Last year or 2 years ago, I started listening a lot to Aurora. And it was actually because someone said that they thought I reminded them of Aurora. And then I was like, that's interesting. So I looked her up and I just got obsessed with all her music. So she's a big inspiration to me as well.
As a prep for today's interview, I was listening to like all your music in a row. Of course, I've listened to it before, but in the context of this, and I noticed, I mean, I think this is a very Scandi thing to have like this electronic instrumental with melancholic and sad lyrics to it. So I think like it definitely comes through in your music and, you know, where you are based. Would you say I am correct? Because I don't really know that much about the music scene there, but if I think of the kind of artists that I used to listen to, you may not even know them, but to me it kind of has a similar vibe. They have this electronic, a little bit more upbeat instrumental or beat, and then when you listen to the lyrics, it's not quite as upbeat. I keep using the word upbeat a lot. Would you say that the country you're from has an influence on your music?
Actually, in Denmark, I think the taste is pretty different from what I make. I don't know about Sweden and Norway. Aurora is from Norway, so that might be different there. But in Denmark, my kind of music isn't very popular, actually. It's more like, I don't even know how to describe this in English, but they like this kind of mixture of rap and singing and with like a lot of autotune in it. And upbeat, like a lot of bass, and you know, when you go through the hit lists, hit lists, that's very popular. And also, they listen mostly to Danish music, like music sung in Danish. So I feel like my music is very different from what's in the hit lists in Denmark, but they might be more compatible with like Sweden or Norway.
Yeah, I would think so. Sure. I don't know if you've ever listened to Robin.
Yeah, I know her. She's from Sweden, right?
Yeah, she's from Sweden. Yeah, and you know there are some other bands I used to listen to, like The Knife. They're also Swedish, and so you know. But it's interesting because, like, for me that was my thought, but obviously it doesn't necessarily happen like that. So when you make your instrumental beats, because I know you make them yourself, what's your creative process there? As someone who doesn't produce, that's quite interesting to me.
I use GarageBand on my phone because I feel like that's easier than FL Studio. And usually I take like a digital keyboard on my phone. I just like place my phone like this and then place a digital keyboard on it, and then I play chords on it with my fingers, like, you know, on my phone. And then I take those chords and I turn them into other sounds, like already played chords. I can turn them into like a guitar sound or a synthesizer or a piano, violins, like anything. And then I just kind of go from there and build on top of it.
Do you have a melody in mind when you start creating it, or do you sort of play around and be like, oh, this sounds good, maybe I could write a song to this?
Usually I just play around because I'm not like a person to think for a long time about an idea. I just do everything impulsively. What do you call impulsively? You know what I mean?
Impulsively.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool. I mean, I think that's actually one of the best ways, because, you know, when inspiration hits, it's like it doesn't wait for you to have the perfect setup and whatever. That's why I think every artist has their sort of voice memos and notes app filled with like ideas and like, and then, you know, the worst thing for me is when I like, okay, I'll think of something. I don't know, whenever, like usually it's when I'm cleaning that my best lyrics and melodies come. And then I say to myself, oh, it's okay, I'll remember. And then I don't remember. And I'm like, damn it, I should have recorded this.
Same. For me, that usually happens when I'm showering.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because I think that's when our brains go into like a different state where, I don't know, when we are focused on something else, we are more able to connect with our creativity, which is usually just the most convenient time for us.
So that's why I do everything impulsively. I can't say that word for some reason.
You're doing great. Impulsively, yeah. Now, obviously, you have music out on all platforms. You have, I would say, decent streaming, decent following on Instagram. Like, I can see your growth. You're doing amazing. Your last song was amazing, North Star. I really love it. It's my favorite one. Are there any more releases coming out this year?
Actually, I just set a song up for release today. It's an orchestral version of Midnight Veil.
Oh, cool. That will be really interesting.
Yeah, so it's coming out in a week on November 8th. My English sometimes.
No, it's great. I mean, you write songs in English. Obviously, your English is good.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's different when you have to.
Yeah, when you have to speak it, unlike on camera.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
It helps to me that my husband only speaks English, so I don't have a choice.
Oh, no. Well, you sound like native English speaker.
Well, not to the English. I mean, I am bilingual, like from birth. My dad only spoke English. He didn't speak Polish, so I guess.
Okay.
But it's quite different when you like grow up in a country and you don't have many people speaking English around you. So, I think
exactly.
I admire everyone who speaks fluent English but lives in a country where no one does. And like, I can't imagine in your day to day, other than speaking to us in the chat, that you would be speaking, to your boyfriend or dad or sister in English for no reason.
Yeah, no, we always speak English.
Exactly. So, don't be hard on yourself. So song is coming out on the 8th. So that's pretty cool. I see that you don't always leave a big gap between your submission and release.
Well, that's just because I'm here.
Because you're...
Sorry. I'm very impatient, so...
Yeah, no, me too. Like, I have this song that is still not ready to come out. And then I'm just thinking, oh my God. And then I'm going to have to wait 4 weeks before it fully drops. And I'm dying to show it to somebody. So I totally get it.
But the best would be like a bigger gap for playlist and everything. But I can't wait. I'm too excited.
I mean, that's good for us because we'll get the music sooner. Okay, anything else lined up for the near future, or are you taking a rest for December?
Well, I'm actually working on a track. It isn't my song, but someone, he's called Matt Beard. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. He asked for my vocals on his song. So we're still working on it, but I recorded my vocals and he's just producing it right now, I think, working on it. So yeah, I'm not sure when it's going to come out, but it's cool.
Do you have any like major goals for this next year, or what would be your ideal sort of moment, like, oh, I made it?
I don't have like specific numbers, but one thing is landing on a Spotify editorial playlist. That would be like, wow, I would feel like I made it if I landed on one of those, I think. And just like
Spotify, can you
when
hear
you go
us?
into Spotify.
No, I was saying Spotify. Sorry? Can you hear us?
Yeah. Please, we're manifesting.
Sorry, you were saying, I interrupted.
Oh yeah, when you go into the Spotify for Artists app, like most of the time it says 0 people listening, but then when you catch like maybe 5 people listening, you're like, whoa. So one thing that would be cool would be to get like a lot of people listening at once, and it wasn't bots from Finland. That would be cool.
Exactly. And that happened to me. I got so excited. I was like, oh, wow. Because I first came in and it said like 6 people and it was the day of release. I was like, okay, maybe it's happening. And then every time I refreshed or like went in, it was like 20, 30, 50, up to like almost 100. I was like, okay, no, this is either a glitch or something's wrong. So that's one situation that, it sucks, doesn't it? When you get excited and then immediately after, or at least for me, like the moment I see big numbers, the first thought is wow, and the second thought is like, shit, is it bots?
Yeah, exactly. Like it ruined the excitement for indie artists like us, I think, because they don't go after the bigger artists, they go after people like us. So whenever I see a lot of people listening, I get anxious instead of happy. So that's a bummer.
Yeah, so Spotify, you're listening. Sort this out, please, because it's not on
Yeah.
us. It shouldn't be on us. It should be on the playlist to be prosecuted. So thank you. Do you plan on, or would you like the opportunity to sing live anywhere, go on a tour, maybe do like a support for someone, or not? Not yet.
I just posted the video today of me singing live where I said that I
Mm.
suffer from severe anxiety, and I do, but it's still something I would like to work on, especially maybe in 2025. Like, I think that's one of
Mm.
my goals, like working on my anxiety and putting myself out there. And before I wouldn't even like put myself on camera and post and like film myself singing. I would put a nature background to me singing.
Mm.
So even me starting to post videos of myself, that's like a big step for my anxiety. So I think the next step is performing live more and more until I get comfortable.
That's amazing. And I think you should be really proud because it's not easy. And like I even commented, like even for someone like me who doesn't have major issues with anxiety, when I have to sing live, like I get, anxious, stress, my voice closes up, or, the same thing with putting myself on camera. I don't feel the most comfortable. But we got to do what we got to do in this world of an independent artist. But I
Exactly.
hope that it works out for you. I think, it would be amazing to get that experience of being somewhere live. And we are not that far. I might fly in to Denmark. Um,
That would be amazing.
yes, we have to do that artist retreat, by the way, but
Yeah.
it would be hard with
Yes,
everyone
that's a
in like
dream. Big dream.
America. Yeah, in Greece, yes. It will be easy for me. Out of all of the jobs that an independent artist has, which is basically everything, being, your own manager, content creator, video editor, like you, a producer, mixer, etc. What jobs would you ideally have someone else do if you had the opportunity? And what would you still like continue doing yourself?
I kind of have like mixed feelings about this, but it would be cool to have someone to do the mixing and mastering in one way because I'm still not a professional, and it does make a big difference in how your song sounds, good on all devices and all that. I try my best, but I do know that I can't measure up with someone who has like 10 plus years of experience. So in one way, that would be cool to have someone to do. I would still want to produce the beats because that's like half the fun for me. So but then again, I'm also impatient, and I would have to wait for them to like, mix and master it, and maybe they would send it back, and I was like, no, that wasn't my vision. Can you try this and this? And I would just be a little impatient about it and just want to do it on my own, I think. So yeah, it's
No,
like
I
mixed
totally
feelings
get
about
it.
that.
Because yes, I am in that boat where the production part, okay, you don't really have to wait for long because oftentimes you can find something you already like and then write to that. But the mixing part is exactly like you described it. You have to wait for it to happen, then it might come back and it might not my vision, this and that. But with your, you already have the skill. So what you could always do is send them a sample and just say, can you do this, but more professional? That's
exactly.
where I would get, like, at least to be able to do the sort of edits I want and like, okay, I want this effect here and like this to cut out there, but can you do it better than me?
Yeah, exactly. Like the technical.
I think for me, what would be ideal is, I don't know, someone to just like tell me what content to film. I don't mind filming it, but just tell me.
I struggle with the ideas as well. But honestly, I think it was Katara who said that it is a good idea to like use ChatGPT for caption ideas, or just like small ideas on what to film. I think she's the one who said that. If not, then I'm sorry, Katara. But that's actually a really good idea because it doesn't like take anything away from the creativity. Like you're still filming, you're taking your own twist on it, but like it like kickstarts you into like knowing what kind of content to film. And so I tried that, and it actually gave me more views than usual when I used their ideas for like a caption to right on the screen. So
Okay, I might have to ask you what prompt you told ChatGPT, because I did ask it before, but either was too lazy to follow up, or I just didn't understand, or I didn't put the right prompt.
well, I think ChatGPT can have different versions on different devices. I noticed that it can be different on my boyfriend's phone and my dad's phone and mine. Like, it tends to
Oh.
answer in a different way compared to its what do you call it? Its memory. Like, it updates its memory based on what you're writing, and yeah, it can come up with
Yeah,
different answers, I guess.
I think that's a good advice to every independent artist out there, and certainly for me. Thank you. I will look into it more. On this note, if you were to give an advice to your younger self or to an artist just starting out, and they'd be like, okay, I don't know what to do. I want to be a musician. I want to put music out, but I don't know how to start. What would your advice be?
Well, I would say, depending on what device you're on, but if you have an iPhone, then just use GarageBand, because it's so easy. Like, it's not the most professional, but it's so easy to learn, and so easy to make songs using it, and just, play around and start recording. And you can start recording with your iPhone earphones or whatever earphones you have, if you don't have any professional gear yet. I did that with Angel, actually. That was just on my iPhone earphones, and just,
I would never tell.
play around. No, thank you.
Yeah, play around.
Just go for it. Don't be afraid that you're not good enough. Like, let go of the imposter syndrome and just make music. It's okay if it's not perfect. Just get it out there, because your songs will get better each time you post, each time you release a song.
No, definitely. I mean, you know what they say about the first 10,000 hours, that it will take you at least 10,000 hours of anything before you get properly good at it. I think we often sort of have this expectation that we're going to release one song and suddenly, boom, we're going to explode, because this is what we've seen us growing up in our generation as millennials or zillennials. For you, not me. Seeing, like, let's say Britney come out with her debut song and suddenly it's a hit, or I don't know who I can think of, but Justin Bieber coming out with Baby. But I think it's a difference when you have a label behind you, pushing your music, you're working with world-class producers and songwriters, as opposed to you doing everything yourself and trying to get the same result. Like, I often remind myself that I'm trying to get like $10,000 results with less than $1,000 setup.
Yeah, exactly.
It's rarely going to happen. Not to discourage myself or anyone, but like, to not have these crazy expectations of ourselves, and then just be like, okay, the first song didn't do the best, so I'm just going to give up. For many of us, like, art or music is art and is a way to express ourselves. Like, if you're going into it with the thought, I just want to be famous and this is an easy way, which was a way I used to look at it when I was younger. I thought, okay, maybe if I became a star, then it would be easy money. But then you realize it isn't actually that easy, first of all. And second of all, like, not creating, to me at least, it feels like a part of you is dead. I don't know if you've ever had that moment in your life when you weren't doing anything creative.
Definitely. Like, I think from I released Heartbeat to I released Deep Blue Dance Remix, there was 5 or 6 months. And that's a long time for me, because I usually release like frequently. And that was like not a good time in my life. That's like a proof that I'm not at my best. So yeah, I don't feel good when I don't create. I need to like be creative and make music and create. And I don't know how I lived 23 years without releasing music, because it's just a big part of my life now.
No, 100% I agree. Like, for me, it was always this nagging feeling like, you always said you wanted to make music. Why aren't you, like, me speaking, talking to myself, why aren't you making anything? Or like, oh, this was always your dream. And then if I saw somebody else doing that, I would feel kind of jealous and like have this feeling like, oh, they're not that great. But in reality, what I was trying to say is like, I am upset with myself because I know this is what I wanted and I'm not doing it. So then I'm trying to find reasons why I shouldn't, by saying like, oh, this person trying out is never going to make it, etc. So that, I needed to take a look at myself in the mirror, take a long, hard look at myself in the mirror. and realized that this is where it was coming from. But ever since I started making music, I don't feel that way. I feel like, oh my God, I have a little studio in my house. Like I have a microphone. It's amazing. I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I don't know why it took me so long to start producing music, because I was always writing and singing, and I just guess I had this feeling like I can sing, but I can't make my own music, because you need to be a professional to do that. You can't just like make a little song on GarageBand, and no, you can't do that. Like, those are my thoughts as well. So I'm glad that Kat did it first, so that I could like learn that okay, you can actually do this. Like, that was a big part of it. So I'm grateful to her.
That's so nice that you've connected with someone because you were fans of another artist and they inspired you, to do that. I think, yes, something similar happened to me. I have a friend with whom I recorded some music when we lived in Gambia many years ago. And then seeing him continue with his journey and me not doing anything was always like, okay, well, he can do it, I can do it. And actually, what propelled me to start releasing was he asked me for us to make a song together. And we've been talking about it for a long time, but it never materialized until this time I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. And I went to a studio in my little town here. And when I saw the setup, I was like, okay, I could do this at home. Like, it didn't look, that professional or great. And I was like, I'll do some research about building my own studio rather than, paying to be somewhere. And then you also get a little bit self-conscious when you have to sing like in front of, because when I was in Gambia, every studio had like a little booth. So that was really cool because like I could be closed off and, even though they can hear me, I can't see their reactions or see them. And, but here I was just in the middle of the room with everyone looking at me. I was like, okay, this is not ideal.
Okay.
So I recorded my part, sent it off to him. I mean, the song hasn't come out yet and it's still in progress for various reasons. But in any case, I'm glad that it happened because it put me on this path. And then I was like, okay, so I'll just find a beat and then I can write and then, I'll connect with someone. But also another thing for us, we might be saying like, oh, what took us so long? But it's not always been this easy to release music by yourself. Like, I don't know when Spotify for Artists came out exactly, or when, the opportunity for you to self sort of release. I mean, I'm sure there were avenues, but I don't think it was as easy as it is now to be able to distribute to every platform by yourself.
Yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves.
I was also thinking that when you talk about like it's hard to just release one song and then blow up because there's so much competition. Also, I don't like calling it competition, but if you look at it with like a business model, then you have to like do something unique, and there are so many people self-releasing songs now compared to like 15 years ago. So you're just gonna be one reel in between 50,000, 1 million reels of other indie artists trying to make it. So, and that's a good thing, but it also makes it harder to like blow up immediately because you really have to make them see you, make them listen to you.
Yeah, 100%, and that's something I'm still figuring out.
Same.
I think most of us are trying. I think things keep changing. Like a formula that might have worked 2 years ago may not work today anymore because the changes are so dynamic. But I think as much as, sometimes, at least myself, or we complain about, having to do content, this and that, it is a creativity challenge as well, because I didn't even know about the existence of CapCut until quite recently. Like, when it comes to TikTok, I wasn't so like, I'm an Instagram girl, I'm a millennial, okay? So then I had to learn, okay, you can do all of these things in just CapCut. I thought people needed like, proper editing tools. And so to look at, I didn't know of its existence, and now I use it a lot. And like it, I look at things in a different way. Like everything now is content. I'm going to
exactly.
spend the day in the olive field. Content. Which
Definitely.
It's not to take away from the experience. I think we live in a world where we would be taking videos and photos anyway, but now I think we'll we might take better videos and photos, and then it also serves as a memory of the things we do. So yeah, I think it's a nice thing. Are there any sort of digital skills or anything other than like you said, you are not 100% proficient on mixing and mastering? Like, is there any skill that you would love to develop more?
I'm also not very good at filming promotion. I think I post a lot because I just like, I will take a video of nature and I will put my song on it just to have something to post. But I would like to get better at filming myself more and like being more creative with the ideas. Like, I see people making such great reels that go viral, and I just feel like I'm still very, very new on that matter. So that's something that I would probably like to get better at, like maybe get better lighting and like backdrop setup and stuff like that to like attract more followers, I guess, and just make better content for my music, because in this world we need to make good content for people to want to listen to us. That's just like a part of the
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be nice to have someone on the podcast who is like a pro at this and give us some tips. But I think your photography and videos are beautiful.
Thank you.
And yeah, the way like you put everything together, it definitely is very cohesive. It has a vibe, it has an aesthetic. But I guess we are looking for that virality factor.
Definitely.
I think what's frustrating is that to go viral, oftentimes you need to use trending sound.
Yeah, exactly. But we can't do that because we need to use our own music.
But I'm sure we're going to figure it out one way or another. All of our sounds are going to go viral, and it will be great. So you've mentioned that you usually produce all of your music, and you started with your iPhone headphones, Apple headphones. This podcast isn't sponsored by Apple, but if you guys want to, you're more than welcome. So have you recorded all your music yourself, or did you ever go to a studio?
For my second song, well, for my first song, Angel, we didn't yet have a mic. My boyfriend bought the mic, by the way. So for the second song, I wanted to try a studio because I've never tried that before. So I found a studio that was like an hour's drive away, I think, called Lundgaard Studios. And that's where I recorded Be Okay. But like you said yourself, I get like, it's very awkward to stand in front of someone while singing, because I can do like a lot of retakes, and I felt anxious, so my voice was shaking, and and he was mixing and mastering. I still made the beat myself and like the producing, but he mixed and mastered it. So that was a fun experience, but I would still like to do it myself, because I can sit in this safe space of my own home and record and mix and master it with my own vision. But it was a fun experience.
And how do you deal with the neighbors?
Just yesterday, my upstairs neighbor wrote to me that he could hear me singing because I was like screaming "Bring Me to Life" by Evanescence. I don't know how to pronounce
As one should.
Yeah, exactly. And he just wrote to me on Messenger, "Damn, you're singing pretty loud." Oh God. And I said to him, well, that was actually my boyfriend singing. He just has a very light, like high-pitched voice. And he was like, no, it wasn't. But we're good friends, all three of us. So, it was just like fun, and we were laughing about it. But I was still kind of embarrassed knowing that he could hear me, because I didn't think he could. So
okay, so like when you're singing, like it happens to me because my recording corner is adjacent to my neighbor's bathroom. So hello.
The honorary goddess.
And he's the honorary goddess.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
This
How do you
is
say-
Jeps, by the way.
Yes, welcome Jeps Music,
Thank you very much.
prod by Jeps into this chat.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping in. So we were talking about neighbors. Yeah. So when I sing, I often get self-conscious that they can hear me. So I feel like it, in some ways, it impacts my performance because I don't want to be too loud.
Yeah.
But I guess if you think they can't hear you, that's better. But maybe we need to start keeping like a little diary of when our neighbors are in the house and not, and like run to record.
I feel like after he wrote that he could hear me, I'm gonna look and see if his car is there, and if it's there, I'm not gonna sing anymore. It's too embarrassing.
You can't hear that much. Like when you're singing into a mic, you're not singing as loud for the most part. I think. I don't know because I can't hear myself.
I wasn't recording. I was just like,
exactly.
for fun. So it was like,
I
gave it everything, and I was also sick, so it probably didn't sound my best.
I'm sure it was fine. As a closing question, what is your dream lineup of a festival?
Like artists to listen to at a festival.
So like if you were to go and handpick Coachella for yourself or AiramFM.
Well, the obvious one would be Lana Del Rey, of course, and like we spoke about, Aurora. And then I would also love to see Birdie, if you know her.
Yeah, I do.
I love her voice. Like, to me, she has one of the most beautiful voices ever. And then I love, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but Lordi?
Lord. Yeah, I think Lord.
Yeah. I love her music as well. And I also love Iniko. I don't know if you know their music, but it was like they had this song called Jericho. That's been very popular.
Okay, I'll check them out.
Yeah, they're very talented. And who else do I listen to? When people ask me this, I always forget like every artist I've ever listened to. Oh, Marina, of course, from Marina and the Diamonds. I don't think she's called that anymore, but her as well. Yeah.
Okay, well, I hope it happens that all of them will be performing in one place, and that place will be near to you, and you'll be able to go and meet them backstage.
That will be
and perform with them at the same time. Well, as one of the lineup, imagine.
That's a dream. A manifesting.
So now you have to go on Pinterest and make a board. Now Pinterest allows you to do a collage or some sort of, I don't know if you've seen.
I think I've seen it. I don't have Pinterest anymore, but I think I had it at some point.
Okay, yeah. So that's where I do my vision boards, and now you can like cut out a part like of an image and then put them all on one image, like an actual vision board. Yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today.
Thank you as well.
It was a pleasure. It was fun. And I hope that you'll be back soon and we can have some more fun chats.
Yes, it was awesome.
Have a lovely evening. Thanks again. And we'll chat anyway.
You as well. Yeah. Bye.